Imagine living a double life, jet-setting with celebrities by day and running a drug empire by night. That's the world of Jasveen Sangha, the alleged Ketamine Queen, or Hollywood's prettiest drug lord. Her story is even crazier than any Hollywood script. Connections with celebrities, fancy parties, designer shopping sprees, and a cute, innocent face that fooled everyone around her. Until a regrettable event took place on October 28, 2023, when Friends star Matthew Perry was discovered dead of a ketamine overdose in his Los Angeles home, an event that caused a complicated drug business to crumble overnight. How did a harmless-looking LA girl manage to build a thriving drug operation in the heart of Hollywood? How involved was she in Perry's death? And who were her accomplices moving the strings behind the scenes? This is the story of Hollywood's #1 celebrity drug dealer. This is the story of Jasveen, the Ketamine Queen. Hollywood and drugs have been in a century-long relationship. From the golden age of Marilyn Monroe and Judy Garland to the modern era of Heath Ledger, drug use has tragically claimed the lives of some of Hollywood's biggest stars. For some, it's a way to cope with high-pressure environments and manage super busy schedules. For others, it's just a way to make showbiz connections and get access to Hollywood's exclusive parties. After decades of drug-related depictions, it's safe to say that the entertainment machine thrives on the controversy surrounding drugs, perpetuating a dangerous cycle that's been continuous for so long. And whenever there's demand for something, supply is quickly created. In 1983, way before becoming the queen of ketamine, Jasveen Sangha was born in the UK to an upper-middle-class family. During her teenage years, she moved to Los Angeles with her parents. Jasveen was a top student, both in high school and university. In 2005, she graduated with a degree in social sciences from the University of California, Irvine. She later found her way in the corporate world, working at the wealth management company Merrill Lynch. Until now, Jasveen's life is no different than any other A-level university graduate, a degree, a corporate job, and a suburban apartment. But Jasveen was not your average university graduate. Growing up in the Los Angeles suburbs, she developed an interest in Hollywood's fast life. She used her position at the wealth management company to build real-life connections with some of the firm's clientele, many of whom were involved in the entertainment industry. With above-average looks and a bubbly personality, Jasveen managed to infiltrate celebrity-tight circles. She got invited to Hollywood-exclusive pool parties, private movie premieres, and even got invitations to the most celebrity-packed events in the world, the Golden Globes and the Oscars. In just a couple of years, she went from relative obscurity to being in the heart of Hollywood's party culture, where addiction and exploitation often go hand in hand. Jasveen's journey to becoming the Ketamine Queen began in 2019, when new party attendees started asking her if she knew any drug dealers in the area. That was her light bulb moment that changed the trajectory of her life and others around her. Among the most common drugs in Hollywood are cocaine, Adderall, and other prescription drugs. But in recent years, one drug has become in huge demand in Hollywood circles, and that is ketamine. It's a dissociative anesthetic with hallucinogenic effects, popular both as a party drug and an off-label treatment for depression. This dual nature made it highly sought after in certain social circles, particularly among the rich and famous. With the rise of clinics and online services that offer treatments and at-home prescriptions, ketamine has become one of the main drugs used both clinically and recreationally. But even for the rich and famous, ketamine is not a cheap drug, especially for people addicted to it. These clinics charge from $350 to more than $700 for a single session. For Jasveen, these expensive prices were the inspiration for her new business model. If she could get her hands on ketamine for cheap and use her presence among Hollywood's rich and famous, a lot of money could be made, and that exactly was her plan. Just like any other commerce business, the Ketamine Queen's business plan involved two main phases. First, find reliable and discreet sources of the drug. The supplier needs to have direct access to the substance, no criminal past that could jeopardize the operation, and an abundant quantity of ketamine. She quickly knew there was only one profile who checked all the boxes, and that is one of the clinics and online treatment services. Sangha needed to convince one of the doctors operating the treatment sessions to supply her with ketamine. Soon enough, she found her guy, Dr. Mark Chavez, who had previously operated a ketamine clinic in San Diego, California. Upon a dispute with his business partner, Chavez retrieved all prescription drugs, including ketamine, because his co-founder was not a medical doctor. With the supplier secured, Sangha moved on to the next phase of her well-thought-out operation. When most drug operations focused on distributing the most amount of drugs possible, Ketamine Queen had a different approach. What made Sangha's operation stand out wasn't its size, it was her clientele. She planned to only deal with high-end celebrities. That set her apart in the drug trade. Sangha's business model was finally set. It was time to execute. She continued to attend Hollywood parties and events, but this time, she was there for business. One would think that she needed to get close and personal with celebrities, but knowing that most of them would get weirded out by her offer, she chose a different approach. She would get close to celebrities' assistants, strike up conversations, and maintain a good image. Find out what substance the high-profile target was on, and indirectly put the information out there of her being a discreet supplier. In business terms, she was playing the long, high-ticket game. Soon enough, plans started working. Orders started coming in, and business was booming. A few months deep into the operation, Ketamine Queen received her first big hit. In late 2019, U.S. authorities revealed they uncovered Sangha's alleged connection to the ketamine overdose death of Cody McLaury. She was reported to have been contacted by one of his family members who texted her saying, "The ketamine you sold my brother killed him. It's listed as the cause of death." Days later, Sangha is said to have searched on Google, "Can ketamine be listed as a cause of death?" And that was her first big mistake. In March 2023, Sangha was arrested and accused of being a large volume drug dealer. According to court records, she was out on a $100,000 bond. Despite being under the police's radar, she refused to shut down her operation. Strangely enough, her drug business grew even bigger. Only a few months later, she landed her biggest client so far, someone we all grew up watching. "Shoot me up with a big one." Those were the last words spoken by Friends star Matthew Perry as his live-in assistant Kenneth Iwamasa injected him with the deadly dose of ketamine for the third time that day. At exactly 1:30 p.m., Perry's assistant came back to check on him and found the actor face down in his hot tub. Paramedics reported Perry dead upon arrival, and a coroner's report later stated ketamine as the primary cause of death, with drowning second. Apart from Perry's assistant, it turns out more people were involved. Who was responsible? The actor's passing sent shockwaves through Hollywood. The story involves a complicated network of multiple parties and details quite unusual events. Perry had been receiving ketamine treatments from his regular doctor to treat depression. However, he wanted to access more than the prescription would allow. That's when Dr. Salvador Plasencia got involved. On September 30th, 2023, he met with Perry and his assistant in Los Angeles. He sold them $4,500 worth of ketamine and taught the assistant how to inject it, who later texted Plasencia, though the experience felt like a bad movie. In the week following, Iwamasa injected Perry with ketamine multiple times, at one point texting Plasencia he had found the sweet spot. But in just a few weeks, Matthew Perry's addiction grew, and Dr. Plasencia was no longer able to fulfill Perry's increasing demands. That's when another piece of the puzzle came in. Hollywood director and producer Eric Fleming. Fleming then connected Iwamasa to Jasveen Sangha, since allegedly he'd been purchasing drugs from her. Perry and his assistant paid $5,500 for 25 vials of ketamine, which Fleming delivered to Perry's house. That was the first batch. of many. Up until October 2023, Perry had purchased around 6 figures worth of ketamine from Jasveen, making him the biggest client in her operation. The strange part is that a week before his passing, Perry received his last legal ketamine treatment, and a woman whose name is redacted in the Department of Justice filing told investigators she believed Perry had been sober for 19 months, but clearly, he was not. Shortly after Perry's overdose, the Ketamine Queen continued living her extravagant lifestyle as if nothing had happened, including posting pictures of her parties and a trip to Japan and Mexico. She even dyed her hair purple, but that wasn't enough to stop authorities from chasing her tail. The DEA managed to extract all text messages between her and all the others involved, including a final text between her and Perry's assistant, asking him to delete all their text messages.
After Perry's death, another text between the group reportedly said, "Delete all our messages."
Investigators revealed that her North Hollywood home was a drug-selling emporium. Following a search, more than 80 vials of ketamine were allegedly found, along with thousands of pills that included methamphetamine, cocaine, and Xanax. The home called the Sangha Stash House in the indictment was where she is alleged to have packaged and distributed drugs. Authorities have now brought charges against 5 individuals, including the 2 doctors, Perry's assistant, and the Ketamine Queen. If convicted of all charges in Perry's case, Sangha would face a mandatory minimum sentence of 10 years in federal prison and a maximum sentence of life imprisonment. As this case unfolds, it serves as a sobering reminder of the hidden costs of fame. Drugs and Hollywood are still in an ongoing battle to this day. The ripple effects of this tragedy will likely be felt for years to come. Subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.